English Journey Podcast.
Let's go. Hello, everyone, and a very warm welcome back to the English Journey Podcast. I'm Emma, and I am so happy you are here with us today. Whether you are listening on your way to work or maybe relaxing at home with a cup of coffee, we are glad to be part of your day.
Hey guys, I'm Jack. It is great to be back. And Emma, I have to say, today's topic is, well, it's a really important one. I think almost everyone listening has felt this way at least once.
Oh, definitely. I think even native speakers feel this way sometimes. So today we are talking about fear, specifically the fear of speaking English. You know that feeling when your heart starts beating fast, your hands get a little sweaty, and your mind just goes blank?
Yes, the dreaded mind blank. It's the worst. You know the words, you have studied the grammar, but the moment you open your mouth, nothing comes out.
Exactly. It is so frustrating. I actually remember when I was learning Spanish in university. I could read books, I could write essays, but if someone said hola to me on the street, I would just freeze.
Really? You? But you're so chatty now.
I know, right? But back then, I was terrified. I was so afraid of making a mistake. I thought people would laugh at me.
Yeah, I think that is the main thing. It's the fear of judgment. We think that everyone is analyzing our grammar or judging our accent.
Right, but actually, most people just want to communicate. They want to understand the message. They aren't grading you like a teacher.
That is such a good point. You know, I have a friend, Marco. He is from Italy. When he first moved here, his English was, well, it was basically beginner level, A1 maybe, but he was fearless.
Oh, I love people like that.
Yeah, he would just talk. He used hand gestures, he made up words, he used the wrong tenses constantly. But you know what? Everyone loved talking to him because he was smiling and he was trying.
See, that is the secret sauce. Confidence, or at least pretending to be confident, is more important than perfect grammar. But Jack, for our listeners who are at that B1 intermediate level, it's a tricky place to be.
It is, because at B1, you know enough to have a conversation, but you also know enough to realize when you are making mistakes.
Yes, that's it. It's the conscious incompetence. You hear yourself make a mistake, and then you start overthinking it while you're still talking, and then you stumble.
It's like trying to walk and look at your feet at the same time. You're going to trip.
Great analogy. So Jack, let's start with the physical reaction. Why does our body react like we are in danger when we just want to order a coffee?
Well, it's actually biology. It's the fight or flight response. Your brain thinks, oh no, a stressful situation, and it pumps adrenaline into your body. It thinks you are facing a tiger, not a waiter.
A tiger, that's funny. But it feels like that, doesn't it?
It really does. Your mouth gets dry.
And your throat feels tight.
Exactly. So the first step is actually physical. You have to tell your body, hey, we're safe. It's just English.
Right. And how do we do that?
Breathing. I know it sounds boring, but taking a deep breath before you speak actually changes your brain chemistry. It calms you down.
That is good advice. Just a pause. You know, learners often feel like they have to answer immediately, like snap, snap, snap. But in real life, native speakers pause all the time.
We do. We say things like, or let me think, or that's a good question.
Exactly. Those are called fillers, and they are your best friends. They buy you time.
Yeah. If you watch interviews with movie stars or politicians, they pause constantly. So if you're learning English, don't be afraid of silence. Silence is better than panic.
I totally agree. So listeners, if you take one thing from this first part, it is okay to be nervous. It's biological, but you don't have to let it stop you.
Absolutely. And coming up, we're going to talk about the perfectionist's trap.
Oh, the perfectionist trap. I'm guilty of that one.
Me too. We'll discuss why trying to be perfect is actually hurting your English, not helping it. So stay tuned.
Welcome back to the English Journey podcast. We are continuing our chat about overcoming the fear of speaking English. Just before the break, Jack, you mentioned the perfectionist trap.
That's right. And honestly, I think this is the #1 reason why people freeze up when they try to speak.
I agree completely. But what exactly do you mean by the perfectionist trap? Can you explain it a bit more for our listeners?
Sure. So imagine you are about to say a sentence. In your head, you are thinking, okay, do I use the present perfect here or the past simple? Is it in the afternoon or at the afternoon?
Oh, the prepositions, they are a nightmare.
They really are. But the problem is, while you're checking all that grammar in your head, the conversation has moved on. You miss your chance to speak because you wanted your sentence to be perfect.
Exactly. You're so afraid of making a mistake that you end up saying nothing at all. Silence.
Right. And here's the hard truth. Perfection doesn't exist. Even native speakers make mistakes.
We do, all the time. I catch myself saying things that are technically wrong in grammar bugs, but it's just how people speak naturally.
Yeah. I think this problem comes from school.
School? How so?
Well, think about traditional education. You take a test. If you make a mistake, the teacher uses a red pen. They mark it wrong. You get a lower score. So our brains are trained to think mistake equals failure.
That is such a powerful point. We are traumatized by the red pen. But in the real world, outside of the classroom, conversation isn't a test. There is no score.
Precisely. In the real world, the goal isn't perfect grammar. The goal is connection. Did the other person understand you? Did you laugh together? Did you get the information you needed? If yes, then your English was perfect for that moment.
I love that. Connection, not perfection. That should be a motto for everyone listening.
Definitely. I actually have a little challenge for our listeners. I call it the Make Bad English Challenge.
The Make Bad English Challenge. That sounds counterintuitive. Tell me more.
Bear with me. So the next time you have a chance to speak, give yourself permission to make 5 mistakes. Just tell yourself, today I am going to make 5 grammar mistakes on purpose.
Wow, that takes the pressure off, doesn't it?
It really does, because if you make a mistake, you can think, great, that's one of my 5. Instead of beating yourself up, you just keep going. It changes your mindset completely.
That is actually brilliant. It reminds me of toddlers learning to walk. When a baby falls down, they don't think, oh, I'm terrible at walking. I should just quit and crawl forever.
Imagine if babies did that. We would all be crawling.
Right. They just get back up. They don't care if they look silly. They just want to move. We need to find that inner child again when we learn a language.
Absolutely. You have to embrace the messiness. Learning a language is messy. It's loud. It's chaotic. If you wait until you are ready to speak perfectly, you'll never speak.
So true. You know, I once read a quote that said, the master has failed more times than the beginner has even tried.
Ooh, I like that. That's deep.
It means that the people who speak English fluently, they didn't get there by magic. They got there by making thousands of mistakes and learning from them.
Yeah, every mistake is actually a stepping stone. It's data. It tells your brain, okay, that didn't work. Let's try this way next time.
So, to everyone listening, give yourself a break. Be kind to yourself. Nobody is judging you as harshly as you are judging yourself.
Amen to that. Okay, so we know we shouldn't try to be perfect, but how do we actually start practicing if we're still feeling shy?
That is the big question. You can't just jump from scared to public speaker in one day. You need to take small steps.
Baby steps.
Exactly. And in the next part of our podcast, we're going to talk about exactly that. How to create a safe environment to practice where the stakes are low.
Low stress practice. I love it. We'll be right back with some practical tips on how to start small. Don't go anywhere.
Hello again. You are listening to the English Journey podcast with Emma.
And Jack. And we are back to talk about building your confidence.
So, in the last part, we agreed that we need to take baby steps. We shouldn't try to give a speech to 500 people on our first day. We need a safe zone.
Exactly. A safe zone is a place where the risk is 0, where you can make mistakes and nobody cares. And Emma, do you know where the safest place to practice is?
In a classroom?
No, even a classroom can be scary. The safest place is inside your own house when you are completely alone.
Ah, talking to yourself.
Yes, I know, it sounds a little bit crazy. People think, if I walk around my house talking to myself, my family will think I've lost my mind.
They might, but it is surprisingly effective. I actually used to do this in the shower.
The shower is the best place. The acoustics are great. You sound like a professional singer or speaker.
Totally. But seriously, self-talk is a powerful tool. It helps your mouth muscles get used to moving in English. English requires different mouth shapes than your native language, right?
Right. It's muscle memory, just like playing a sport or an instrument. So here is a simple technique. Narrate your life.
Narrate your life. What does that look like?
Well, imagine you are making breakfast. You just say out loud what you are doing. Okay, I am opening the fridge. Where is the milk? Ah, here it is. Now I'm pouring the milk into the glass.
I see. So simple present continuous sentences.
Exactly. You don't need complex philosophy, just describe your reality. I am putting on my shoes. I am looking for my keys. It connects the English words to the physical actions.
I like that. And the best part is, if you forget a word, like if you forget the word for fridge, you can just look it up immediately on your phone.
Spot on. It's low pressure. Now, if talking to the air feels too weird, do you have a pet, Emma?
I do. I have a golden retriever named Max.
Perfect. Talk to Max.
Oh, poor Max. He has to listen to all my complaints.
Trust me, dogs are the best language partners. They always look interested, they never interrupt you, and they never correct your grammar.
That is true. They just wag their tails. It's very encouraging.
It really is. It sounds funny, but psychologically, just getting the words out of your mouth to another living thing helps break that barrier of fear.
Okay, so we have talking to ourselves and talking to pets. What about technology? Is there a safe way to use tech?
Definitely. Voice assistants, Siri, Alexa, Google Assistant.
Oh, that's a challenge. Sometimes they don't even understand me, and I'm a native speaker.
It's true, they can be picky, but that's actually good practice. Try to set a timer or ask for the weather in English. If the robot understands you, your pronunciation is clear enough.
That's a good test. It's immediate feedback, but without the judgment of a human.
Another great tech tip is recording yourself.
Ooh, I don't know, Jack. Most people hate the sound of their own voice. I cringe when I hear myself.
Everyone does. It's universally awkward. But if you record yourself speaking for just 1 minute, maybe talking about your day, and then listen to it, you will notice things.
You mean like mistakes?
Yeah, but not in a bad way. You might hear, oh, I said he go instead of he goes. When you're speaking, you're too busy to notice. But when you listen back, you become your own teacher.
That's a really proactive way to learn. It puts you in control.
Exactly. And you can delete the recording immediately. No one else ever has to hear it. It's private.
I love that. So, listeners, your homework for this section is simple. Talk to your cat, talk to your mirror, or talk to your phone. Just get those vocal cords vibrating.
Vocal cords vibrating. I like that. But Emma, eventually we have to leave the house. We have to talk to real humans.
Unfortunately, yes, we can't talk to the dog forever.
So how do we make that jump? How do we move from the safe zone to the real world without having a panic attack?
That is the big step. And in the next part, we're going to discuss low-stakes interactions, how to talk to strangers who you will never see again.
That sounds mysterious.
It's actually my favorite trick. Stay with us. We'll explain everything in just a moment. And we are back. You are listening to the English Journey podcast. I'm Emma, and I'm here with Jack. We've been talking about practicing in your safe zone, talking to your dog or your mirror. But now it's time to step outside.
This is the part where people usually start to get a bit nervous again, the real world.
Exactly. But Jack, you mentioned something called low-stakes interactions. That sounds a lot less scary than giving a presentation or going for a job interview. What do you mean by that?
Well, think about it. High stakes means there's a big risk. If you mess up a job interview, you don't get the job. That's high pressure. But low stakes, that means it doesn't really matter if you make a mistake.
Like talking to someone you'll never see again?
Precisely. My favorite example is the coffee shop scenario.
Oh, I love this one. Tell them how it works.
Okay, so if you were in an English-speaking country, or even if you're just at a touristy cafe in your own city, go in and order your coffee in English.
But what if the barista is busy? I don't want to annoy them.
That's the thing. They are busy. They have 50 people to serve. If you say, "Can I have a latte, please?" and your grammar isn't perfect, they don't care. They just want to know what you want to drink.
That's so true. They aren't thinking, oh, did that customer just use the wrong preposition? They're thinking, okay, one latte, next person, please.
Exactly. It's a 30-second interaction. If it goes badly, you walk out the door, and you never see that person again. No harm done.
It's like a hit and run for English practice.
Exactly. A hit and run. But it builds that confidence. You realize, hey, I asked for something in English and I got what I wanted. I survived.
I think another great low-stakes place is online gaming. Have you ever tried that, Jack?
Oh, definitely. If you play games like Call of Duty or Among Us, you can join a team with people from all over the world. You have a headset on, you're focused on the game, and you have to communicate.
And the best part is they can't see your face.
Right, you're just a voice. And usually the English used in games is very simple. Go left, watch out, help me. It's very functional.
And if someone is mean, which, let's be honest, can happen online, you just leave the room. Click, they're gone.
Exactly. You have total control. Another thing I suggest to my students is calling a customer service line.
Oh, wow, that sounds a bit harder.
It's a challenge for sure, but think about it. If you call a big company to ask about their opening hours or their return policy, they are paid to be polite to you.
That's a very sneaky tip, Jack. I like it.
It works. They have to listen. They have to try to understand you. And again, you don't know them. If you get confused, you can just say, "Thank you, bye," and hang up.
I think the key here, listeners, is to find these micro moments. You don't need a 1-hour conversation. You just need 5 seconds of courage.
5 seconds of courage. I love that phrase. It really only takes 5 seconds to say hello or how are you.
And often the other person will respond. They might say, I'm good, how's your day going? And suddenly you're in a real conversation.
And if you get stuck, you can use those discourse markers we mentioned, like, "Oh, let me see," or "How do you say?"
Right. Using those makes you sound so much more natural. It shows the other person that you're thinking in English.
Mm-hmm. It's much better than just stopping and staring.
So we've talked about talking to yourself, and we've talked about these quick, low-stakes moments. But what if you want to have a long conversation, like a real chat with a friend?
That's where the language exchange comes in. But there are some traps you need to avoid there, too.
Ooh, traps. We should definitely talk about those.
Let's do it in the next part. We'll talk about how to find the right partner and how to keep the conversation flowing without getting scared.
Perfect. We will be right back. Welcome back to the English Journey podcast. I'm Emma, and we are diving deep into how to move from those quick coffee shop moments to real long conversations. Jack, you mentioned traps in language exchanges. What did you mean by that?
Well, okay, so a lot of people go to language exchange meetups or use apps like Tandem or HelloTalk, which is great, but the trap is they often end up speaking their native language the whole time.
Oh, I've seen that happen. You meet someone who wants to learn your language, and because you are kind, you spend the whole hour helping them, and you don't practice your English at all.
Exactly. You're being too nice. Or the other person's English is just much better than yours, so you feel intimidated and let them lead the conversation.
So, how do we avoid that? How do we make sure we actually get to speak?
You have to be a bit, well, organized. I always suggest the timer method. Tell your partner, okay, let's do 15 minutes of English only, and then 15 minutes of my language.
That's a fair deal.
It is. And when it's your 15 minutes, you have to be the boss. Even if you struggle, stay in English. Don't let them switch back just because you're searching for a word.
That's a really good point. And you know, Jack, I think another thing is finding the right partner. You don't just need someone who speaks English. You need someone you actually like.
Definitely. If you have nothing in common, the conversation will die after 2 minutes anyway. You'll both be sitting there like, so, do you like weather?
Yes, the weather is blue. That's the worst. You need to find someone who shares your hobbies. If you love photography, find an English speaker who loves photography.
Right, because then you want to explain your ideas. Your passion for the topic becomes stronger than your fear of the language.
I love that. Passion over fear. When you're excited about a topic, your brain actually works differently. You find ways to describe things because you really want the other person to understand your point.
Exactly. And here's a little secret for B1 learners. You don't always need a native speaker.
Ooh, controversial. Tell me more.
Honestly, sometimes talking to another English learner, maybe someone at a B2 or C1 level, is less scary. You feel like you're in the same boat. You know they understand the struggle of grammar.
That is so true. Sometimes native speakers use a lot of slang or speak very fast without realizing it. Another learner might be more patient.
Precisely. It's like practicing tennis. If you play against a professional, you'll never hit the ball. But if you play against someone just a little bit better than you actually get a good game going.
I love that analogy. It's all about finding that sweet spot of challenge. Not too easy, but not impossible.
Right. Now, Emma, what happens when the conversation is going well, but then, boom, you don't understand a word the other person said? That's usually when the fear comes rushing back.
Oh, that's a classic panic moment. Your brain goes into error 404 mode.
Error 404, English not found. So what do you do?
Well, first, don't just nod and pretend you understood. That's a trap. If you nod and say yes, and they just asked you a question about your opinion on nuclear physics, you're in trouble.
Yeah, that could get awkward very fast.
You have to use clarification phrases. These are absolute lifesavers. Things like, sorry, could you say that again? Or, I'm not sure I follow. What does blank mean?
Those are great. And you know, as a native speaker, I never mind explaining a word. In fact, it makes me feel like I'm being helpful.
Exactly. Most people want to help. Asking for clarification isn't a sign of weakness. It's a sign that you are actually listening.
So don't be afraid to interrupt, politely, of course. Use discourse markers like, wait a second, let me just check I understood, or, so are you saying that?
It makes the conversation feel more alive, doesn't it? It shows you're engaged.
It really does. So we've got our partner, we've got our hobbies, and we've got our clarification phrases. We're ready to talk.
We are, but there's still one more thing. What about the inner critic, that little voice in your head that says you sound stupid or your accent is terrible?
Ah, the inner critic. That guy is a jerk.
He really is. In the next part, we're going to talk about how to shut that voice up and build real mental toughness.
I'm looking forward to that. See you in a bit.
Welcome back to the final part of today's episode on the English Journey podcast. We've covered a lot, haven't we, Jack? From talking to your dog to ordering coffee and finding the right language partners.
We really have. But Emma, we saved the most important thing for last, the inner critic. You know, that little voice in your head that whispers, you're going to make a mistake, or they can't understand your accent.
Oh, I know that voice well. It's like a tiny, mean English teacher living in my brain.
Exactly. And the thing is, that voice is usually wrong. Most of the time, the fear is much bigger than the reality. People are generally very kind and patient.
So, how do we shut that voice up?
Well, you have to realize that your accent isn't a problem to be fixed. It's a part of your identity. It shows that you speak at least 2 languages. That's a superpower, not a weakness.
I love that perspective. If you have an accent, it means you were brave enough to learn something new.
Exactly. And instead of focusing on being perfect, focus on being effective. If the other person understood you, you won, period.
Right. It's like a game of catch. If I throw the ball and you catch it, it doesn't matter if my throw was beautiful or elegant. We played the game.
Precisely. So my final piece of advice for our listeners today is don't wait until you feel ready, because ready is a feeling that might never come. You have to speak while you are scared.
Courage isn't the absence of fear, right? It's doing it even though you are nervous.
Exactly. Every time you push through that panic moment, your fear gets a little bit smaller and your world gets a little bit bigger.
That is such a beautiful way to put it. Well, listeners, we hope this episode has given you the boost you need to go out there and use your English.
Even if it's just saying hello to one person today, that is a victory. We are rooting for you.
We really are. Thank you so much for joining us on the English Journey podcast. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and share it with your friends who are also on their English journey.
And let us know in the comments, what is one thing you are going to try this week to overcome your fear? We'd love to hear from you.
Definitely. Well, that's all from us today. Until next time, keep practicing, keep being brave.
And keep talking. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Let's continue your English journey together. Subscribe for more lessons and watch this video next to practice your listening.